Why one purchase destroys your wallet, the hidden trap. You enter the Apple Store. Your phone works fine, just a slower battery and a small crack on the screen. You convince yourself you need an upgrade. It's for work, it's a productivity tool, you think. So you spend $1,200 on the new iPhone Pro Max Titanium. Walking out, you feel successful and accomplished. But sitting in your car, looking at this sleek device, your old charging cable suddenly looks terrible. It feels wrong to plug this engineering masterpiece into a cheap gas station cable. So you buy the new MagSafe charger, $40 more. At home, you notice your plastic case looks ridiculous on the titanium finish. You need the premium leather case, $60. Then you realize your old wired headphones are incompatible. You need AirPods Pro for the complete experience, $250. Within 48 hours, that $1,200 purchase quietly became $1,600, and you barely noticed it happening. This isn't just poor money management. This is a psychological chain reaction that has destroyed more wealth than any market crash. It explains why lottery winners go bankrupt and why dream homes become financial nightmares. This is called the Diderot Effect. I'm Boris, and on this channel, we expose the invisible forces that keep people broke. Most people think they buy things because they need them. Today, I'll prove that you buy things because your existing possessions demand them. If you want to stop this spiral and keep your money, smash that like button. Let's dive into the story of a man who lost everything because of a bathrobe. The French philosopher who lost it all. To understand why you can't stop spending, we travel back to France in 1765. Meet Denis Diderot, a famous philosopher, co-founder of the encyclopedia, and a brilliant mind. Despite his fame, Diderot was broke. He lived humbly, wore old clothes, walked on worn rugs, and sat on a rickety chair in a dusty library. And he was happy. Then, everything changed. Catherine the Great, Empress of Russia, heard about Diderot's financial struggles. She was a fan of his work. She offered to buy his library for a massive sum, roughly $50,000 in today's money, while letting him keep the books. Suddenly, Diderot was rich. So what did he do? He did what any of us would do. He treated himself. He bought a beautiful, expensive scarlet dressing gown, a luxury robe fit for royalty. He brought it home, put it on, and looked in the mirror. He felt elegant and wealthy. But as he sat down to write, something bothered him. The robe was magnificent, but his desk was scratched, rotting, and covered in ink stains. The contrast was painful. The desk didn't match the elegance of the robe, so he replaced it with a beautiful mahogany writing table. He sat down again. Now the robe and desk looked great together. But looking down, his old threadbare rug looked like a rag compared to the mahogany table. It was an insult to the room. So he bought a plush, expensive Damascus rug. You can. Guess what happened next? The rug made the curtains look cheap. He replaced the curtains. The curtains made the chair look like firewood. He bought a leather armchair. He bought new paintings, sculptures, and mirrors. He spent months obsessing over the unity of his room. He systematically replaced every single object until the entire environment matched the scarlet robe. At the end, Denis Diderot was broke again. He later wrote a famous essay titled "Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown." In it, he wrote this haunting line: "I was the absolute master of my old dressing gown, but I have become a slave to my new one." What is the Diderot Effect? This is the Diderot Effect. The introduction of a new possession into your life often triggers a spiral of additional consumption. We think we own our things, but in reality, our things own us. Now you might think, okay, Boris, nice story about a French guy from 300 years ago, but I don't wear scarlet robes. How does this apply to me? It applies to you every single day. The Diderot Effect is more dangerous today than in 1765 because modern marketing is designed to trigger it with weaponized precision. The fitness identity spiral. Let's look at the fitness identity spiral. Say you decide to get in shape. You buy a Peloton bike, a big purchase, maybe $1,500. You tell yourself, this is an investment in my health. But when the bike arrives, you realize you can't ride it in your old baggy t-shirt and high school gym shorts. You don't look like the instructors on screen. You don't feel like a cyclist. So you buy specialized cycling shoes, $150. Then you buy moisture-wicking compression shorts, $80. Then the branded tank top, $50. Then you realize the bike looks cluttered in your messy living room. You need to create a Zen workout space. You buy a yoga mat, dumbbells, maybe a new smart TV to cast the workouts. Suddenly, you haven't just bought a bike, you've bought an entire identity. The psychology of identity. Consistency. This is the core psychology of the Diderot Effect, identity consistency. As humans, we crave consistency. We want our external world to match our internal self-image. When you buy a high-status item like a luxury car or designer handbag, you're upgrading your identity. If you see yourself as a Honda Civic person, you're comfortable wearing jeans and eating at McDonald's. But if you stretch your budget to buy a Porsche, you've shifted your identity. You're now a Porsche person. And Porsche people don't wear scratch sunglasses. Porsche people don't have cheap IKEA furniture. Porsche people don't eat off paper plates. The car acts as the anchor item. It sets a new baseline for your entire life. Every other item in your life that falls below that baseline creates psychological tension. It feels wrong. So, to relieve that tension, you upgrade everything else. The car forces you to upgrade your wardrobe. The wardrobe forces you to upgrade your vacation destinations. Vacations force you to upgrade your luggage. You aren't spending money because you want to. You're spending money to maintain coherence in your story. This is why fake it till you make it advice is financially toxic. If you fake it by buying a Rolex before you can afford it, that Rolex will demand a suit, a car, and dinner tabs that will bankrupt you. The chain reaction cost. Let's break down the math of the chain reaction cost. Most people calculate the cost of an item in isolation. They look at the price tag and ask, "Can I afford this $500 item?" This is the wrong way to think. You need to calculate the chain reaction cost. Let's take the classic example, home renovation. You decide to renovate your kitchen. You budget $10,000 for new cabinets. That seems reasonable. But once the new white modern cabinets are installed, your yellowish 10-year-old refrigerator looks disgusting. It works perfectly fine, but visually, it clashes. It breaks the consistency. So you spend $2,000 on a stainless steel fridge. Now the fridge and cabinets are sleek and modern, but looking down, your vinyl floor looks cheap and dated. The contrast is unbearable. So you rip up the floor and install hardwood, $5,000. Now the kitchen is a masterpiece. It looks like a magazine cover. But it's an open concept house. When you stand in your beautiful new kitchen and look into the living room looks like a dump. The old brown sofa looks sad. The paint looks dull. The kitchen renovation has leaked into the living room. You end up painting the whole downstairs and buying a new sectional. The final cost wasn't $10,000. It was $35,000. The $10,000 cabinets were the scarlet robe. They were the anchor that made everything else look inadequate. If you had kept the old cabinets, you never would have noticed the floor. You never would have hated the fridge. You were happy with them before. The upgrade created the dissatisfaction. Upgrades are often downgrades in disguise. This brings us to a terrifying realization. Upgrades are often downgrades in disguise. When Diderot had his old robe, he didn't worry about ink stains. He used it to wipe his pen. It was functional. He was the master of it. When he got the new robe, he became terrified of ruining it. He became stiff. He lost his freedom. When you buy a brand new, expensive white couch, you stop letting friends drink red wine in the living room. You stop letting the dog jump up. You stop living in your living room because you're servicing the object. You become the curator of a museum, not the resident of a home. 3 strategies to stop the spiral. So how do we stop this? How do we break a psychological pattern hardwired into our brains? We can't just live in a cave and never buy anything nice. That's not realistic. But we can build firewalls to stop the spiral. Here's my 3-step defense strategy against the Diderot effect. Strategy number 1. Predict the chain reaction. Before you buy any upgrade item, a new car, console, or suit, you must pause and ask yourself, what else will this item demand? If you buy the PS5, will it demand a 4K TV to see the graphics properly? Will it demand an extra controller? A PlayStation Plus subscription? Write down the full system cost, not just the item cost. If the PS5 is $500, but the system cost is $1,500, can you afford the $1,500? If the answer is no, do not buy the anchor item. You're inviting a vampire into your house. Strategy number 2, the one in, one out rule. The Diderot Effect thrives on accumulation. We add the new thing, but keep the old things, then try to make them match. You need to cap your inventory. If you buy a new pair of sneakers, an old pair must leave the house. Donate it, sell it, or trash it. If you buy a new toaster, the old toaster goes. This forces you to value what you have. It prevents you from building a shrine of possessions. It keeps you in the mindset of a user, not a collector. Strategy number 3, practice strategic. Downgrading this is the nuclear option, but it works. Sometimes the only way to reset your baseline is to deliberately downgrade a visible part of your life. Drive a slightly older car than you can afford. Wear a watch that's simple and functional. When your anchor items are humble, you feel zero pressure to upgrade everything else. If you drive a beat-up Toyota truck, nobody expects you to wear a $2,000 suit. You have freedom. You can wear jeans. You can eat a burrito in the car. By keeping your status symbols low, you lower the required cost of the rest of your life. You create a low-maintenance identity. And let me tell you, a low-maintenance identity is the most profitable asset you can own. It allows you to stack cash while everyone else is busy curating their museum. Final thoughts. Look, there's nothing wrong with nice things. I like nice things. But you have to understand the game you're playing. Consumerism is designed to make you feel incomplete. It's designed to make you feel you're just one purchase away from happiness. But Diderot taught us the truth 300 years ago. That one purchase doesn't finish the puzzle, it scrambles the puzzle. It resets the board and forces you to start over. Don't be a slave to your robe, be the master of your life. If this video helped you understand your spending habits better, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more practical financial wisdom. I'm Boris, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, don't buy the robe.